What's happening, everybody? Well, we are here live and in color. This is our Sunday evening virtual voter conversation. Y'all come on in. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Gonna give y'all a minute to come on in. We are ready to have the conversation. Come on in. How is everybody doing? Y'all know the norm. We got the comments. Come on in the comments. We appreciate everybody joining in and coming on in to our Sunday broadcast. This is our virtual voter conversation broadcast that we do every Sunday evening at 6 o'clock. What's going on, Colamet? Where we discuss and we'll be discussing for the next few Sundays this thing called the election and all of the twists and turns that are associated with us getting out and voting this year. I want to say thank you. Hey, Mr. Marcus Turner. God bless you. Thank you for signing on. We want to thank One Voice and their civic engagement grant. We were able to secure a portion of that grant that is going to help us produce this broadcast. So we want to say thank you to them. We appreciate them trusting us with those funds in order to get the word out about voting. I also want to send a shout out and a thank you to author Shawana Jeffries Ford. She just has a book that's going to be released called Against All Odds. She made a donation to the broadcast to help us offset the cost of putting this on. So we want to say thank you to her for that. I also want to say to you guys, thank you so much for our special guest that we have this evening. We're going to go ahead on and bring him in here and get us started with the conversation. I have with me none other than State Senator Derrick Simmons. He is the Mississippi Senate Minority Leader. He is a trial lawyer. He is affiliated with the American Bar Association, the National Bar Association, Mississippi Bar, Magnolia Bar, District of Columbia Bar, and Greenville Rotary Club. Senator Simmons is a member of the Masonic Lodge. Woo woo, my brother as an OES sister, life member of NAACP, and life member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity. We're going to incorporate it. We're going to forgive him for that. Senator Simmons also sits on the Mississippi Technology Alliance Liaison Committee. He has a Bachelor in Business Administration, degree in accounting from Jackson State University, and Master's of Business Administration and Finance from Howard University, and a law degree from Howard Law School. He chairs he's a state senator now, so some of his committee memberships, he chairs the enroll bills, vice chair of the Constitution, corrections, finance, insurance, interstate and federal corporation, judiciary division A, division B, ports and main resources, wildlife, fisheries, and parks. Ooh, that's so good. That's so good. He's a Greenville native. He loves Mississippi Delta. He's married to the former Kawanda Flowers. He is a Baptist by faith, and they have two children, Derrick Jr., DJ, and Carter Jace. Guys, I am so blessed. I am so happy to have with me none other than our very own Senator Derrick Simmons. Woo, 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 woo. I'm gonna get some Derrick. As this thing grows, I'm gonna get some sound effects in here in a minute. Woo!
Okay.
How's it going, sir?
It's going wonderful.
How you doing, man?
Thank you so much. I'm doing good. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for your leadership in this effort. This is one of the most critical elections of our lifetime, and you are on the front lines like you always have been, trying to make sure we have civic engagement and to make sure that we have participation from our brothers and sisters on the ground. So thank you so much for what you do, Alicia.
Absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate you so much. I just thought this was, to me, seems to be, may not for a lot of people, but for me, it just feels like this is probably one of the most important presidential elections, and not just president. It seems like everything that's on the ballot is of great importance to us this year. And I want to make sure that we're doing as much as we can to reach out, get as many people engaged, and get them informed. A lot of times people choose or elect not to participate in the process because they just don't know. And I do not want that to be the case this time around. I think it's really important, and we need to get the word out. So
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
thank you so much for coming and being with us, Derrick. What I would like for you to do, you are our state senator, and in particularly my state senator, and the west side of Bolivar County's state senator. And I think you cover a little bit of the east part of the county. Let the people know about your position and what areas you do cover.
Yes. As a state senator, there are about 3 million people in the state of Mississippi. And we in the legislature, we have the Mississippi Senate divided up into 52 districts. So each Senate district represents between 52 to 56,000 people. And the Mississippi House of Representatives is divided into 122 districts. So it's about 20 to 22,000 people per district. Senate District 12, formerly represented by Senator Johnny Walls, a very known attorney in the Mississippi Delta, a very good supporter in Coahoma County, Bolivar, and Washington County as well. And he left the bench in 2011, left a Senate seat in 2011 to go to the judicial bench. And I ran for the seat, and I have been the senator since March 2011. It has been a wonderful opportunity to serve the residents of Senate District 12. And I like to refer to myself as the Delta Senator. So I like to really say that it has been a pleasure to represent not only Senate District 12, but the entire Mississippi Delta, because I strongly believe that Mississippi will not receive all of the benefits of all the return of her investments until we invest and benefit the Mississippi Delta. Once we can see the Mississippi Delta flourish the way it should, that's when the Mississippi as a state will be the state that we know it can be. And so as a senator, we get together every year, the first 3 months of every year, and we get together to amend or change existing laws, or to create new ones, or to repeal old ones. And so we do that based upon what we hear from the constituents, you, or what we hear from special interests or lobbying groups, and try to make the state a better state by and through laws. And so it's wonderful to get together to do that, and we've done it. I've done it since 2011. This year, Alicia, was a little different because of COVID-19, as you can imagine. And we really just ended the session on Friday, the regular session on Friday, where we would usually go about April, no longer than May. We went until this past Friday for the 2020 regular session due to
Okay.
COVID-19.
Right. Right. We had a little blips and everything as it relates to the normal process of things because of the pandemic. What counties? Well, not counties, but what areas is in your district?
So Senate District 12, the counties in Senate District 12 are Washington counties, Bolivar County, and Coahoma counties. So I go from Greenville and all the way as northern as Lula, Mississippi, which is in Coahoma
Okay.
County. So if you take the west side, Greenville, and you go all the way up, you're gonna get to, of course, Scott, and you're gonna get to Laymount, Benoit, Beulah, Gunnison, Rosedale. Um, um, you're gonna get to Coahoma. You're gonna get to Fires Point, Coahoma, as well as Lula. All of those towns, Arrow, all the way up to Lula, Mississippi. So all of those towns in between those municipalities that I named, I have been representing, and I've been really glad to represent the people in those areas.
Okay. All right. Now, how long have you been our state senator?
Since March of 2011, when Senator Johnny Walls vacated the seat in January of
2011.
the then since March of 2011. He vacated it in January of 2011 in the special election, which marched the first of 2011, and that's when I wanted to see that I've been there since then.
Okay. Now, one of my things that I talk about, push, and support is the importance of being engaged politically and definitely voting. We have heard and have seen some um, individuals within our own community that have been let down, very disappointed with how the political process, in their opinion, has applied to them, and feeling aggrieved, um, at least currently, take the position that they won't participate at all. I don't think that's best, and particularly for African Americans. I think our vote is important, and I think we need to bring it to the polling precinct and bring it to it in numbers. And our vote makes a difference. What would you say to those individuals in the African American community that feel like their vote really doesn't matter and it won't matter in this election?
Yeah, I would say if we just look back when we actually passed the Affordable Care Act, and we passed that under the administration under President Barack Obama, as you all know, our first African American president, and in 2016, a lot of people felt like, they had a lot of apathy. They didn't want to get out and vote, and we have seen a complete the degrade that degradation of our democracy. Have seen immigrants being attacked. We've been seeing our voting rights taken away from us. We've seen how we have not uh, done anything regarding trying to improve the Affordable Care Act, and now uh, we are talking about a very, very important appointment to the U.S. Supreme Court, and all of that is done on how we get out and vote, how we vote, not only at the local and at the state level, but also at the federal level. So I would say, yeah, your vote, it does matter, because you see now, because of what we did or failed to do in 2016, while we are facing the most critical election of our lifetime right now in 2020. And so everything from what you pay at the gas pump, to how your roads and your bridges look, to the funding of your schools, to the assistance that you receive when during the pandemic, the additional assistance, and even when that assistance stops, all of that is controlled by representatives. The representatives that you either vote for or you fail to vote for at the local, the state, and the federal level. So I would say, please understand that everything is based off a system of laws. Of course, I know Alicia, as an attorney, and how even in the criminal justice system, what the boundaries that are set on how we are able to represent or not represent people are all based upon laws that were passed at some level of government. And so it's so important that we get re-engaged, re-energized to get out and participate in the process and vote. And you will see the benefits of exercising that fundamental right to vote if you exercise it. And we really, really want you to.
Yeah, yeah. And I get the frustration that some and many have. I mean, we saw in the 16 election where the majority of the people in this country voted in support of Hillary Clinton, and then we had the electoral college flip that thing on us. And then when you hear our current president say that before the first ballot has been counted, he has already made several statements that it's going before the court. It's going before the court, and it makes it seems as though I'm not, of course, I'm not saying this is what he's saying, but it comes off as though he's saying, I don't care what you all vote, who you all vote for. At the end of the day, I'm going to be your president, either by this election or by a judicial order. Have you heard those statements? And if so, what do you think about those?
I have, and I think it's another scare tactic. It's another scare tactic, a way to further suppress the vote, almost involuntarily. I think that we have ways of suppressing the vote voluntarily through laws, and we see that all over the country in our state legislatures, where we have laws even back when we started with voter ID, and even other restrictions that we placed on voting, or other requirements that we placed in order for one to cast that sacred right to vote. I think that that's one way, and it's done voluntarily. I think involuntarily, what happens, Alicia, is you have elected leaders who will try to use rhetoric to discourage you to not vote, and to make you feel like even if you vote, your vote wouldn't even count, because you would not see the outcome of from your vote. And so I just think that's another scare tactic. It is a real possibility, because we have had a situation before, if you remember Bush versus Gore, when we had the hanging chads all out of Florida and had a count and a recount. So we have had an experience nationally where the U.S. Supreme Court had to weigh in presidential election.
Look, the U.S. Supreme Court told them folks to stop counting them ballots.
They did. It's my hope that we will not have to, even though there is, Alicia is exactly right about what the president is saying, and a lot of his talking points, and a lot of the Republican talking points have been that the election will be decided by the Supreme Court. That's the reason why they're rushing back to make this appointment. I believe that if we vote like we voted in 2008 when we elected Barack Obama, if we vote like we voted in 2012 when we re-elected Barack Obama, I think that we will be fine. I think that it will be so overwhelming in the popular vote as well as the electoral college that there is nothing that any U.S. Supreme Court will be able to say. But if we don't, if it's close and we don't exercise our right to vote, I think yeah, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something, Alicia. It's gonna be something. Again, I just cannot reiterate enough how excited I am that you are doing this, and that you will be doing this all the way, through the election, because it's so important that we stay in front of each other and remind each other daily, in your case, weekly, on these virtual town hall meetings that you are having to get out of it. It's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. So now let's change gears just for a little bit. Do you believe that the president has the COVID?
Now, I've been engaging in conversation with people for all week about this.
And listen, Alicia, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing because we think it's a funny. Funny. We know that COVID is serious and people have lost their lives. I want our listeners and watchers to know that. But we're just having a little fun because there's been a whole lot of talk about whether he does or doesn't.
Yeah, and I've been in those conversations. You want to believe something as serious as COVID that he would be truthful about, but we can't believe anything that comes from this White House. I mean, whether it's the weather, whether it's what you should do to treat COVID. You know, this is the same person saying you should inject yourself with bleach. I mean, even when he basically just takes the podium, he and his press person, and they completely lie about things other agency heads have said, whether it's the CDC director or whether it's other people in government. I mean, he just has a history of going down in history as the most lying president that we've ever had, and it's sad that we cannot believe what comes from the White House. And so, personally, I want to believe that he does have it, because it will have to be so many people that are part of the conspiracy. And I mean, because they said that he was auctioning, they said recently that he's been taking steroids. So you got all of the medical personnel at Walter Reed, where he's actually has been hospitalized, will have to be in on the line. But nothing is beyond this presidency. So,
well, listen this. I remember.
I will hope police he's not lying about that. But
listen,
I would hope that I'm sure you heard that he was so down in the polls, like he is, that they was coming up with a way to come up with some kind of sympathy for polls. And all of a sudden, I also heard that this very well be a way to say, well, this is the vaccine that I tested, and so now before the election there is a vaccine. Like, I've heard so many things this week that I cannot say is not beyond this White House.
I just and now I worry about that vaccine thing because he pushed that real heavy in the debate. I worry about the fact that he is a great deflector. And whenever he is not doing well in the news cycle, he has a way of tweeting something that changes the whole conversation. Now, if you remember some while ago, maybe a month or two ago, a little bit ago, they snuck him out of the White House and took him to the hospital for a quote unquote routine medical check. And from that day to this one, we still don't know what he went to the doctor for. So there's a part of me, and this is my conspiracy theory. This is my conspiracy theory.
The first time that American people did not know why
that the
president
had gone to the doctor.
First time we didn't know. That's right.
We didn't know, and we still don't know. And so my conspiracy hat says, hey, maybe he had COVID then, kept it quiet, and now that he needed to pull that booger back out of his back pocket, boom, boom, here I go. Because now every Republican got the COVID. Every Republican.
It's almost like catching it. It's almost like catching it in school now. You know what I'm saying? Just because President Trump got it, and
Trump got COVID, like, I got COVID. We all got COVID.
We all got COVID. You know what I'm saying? Having COVID is fine. It's okay. And it's the most deadly virus that we've ever seen. And so I just think that in all seriousness, we shouldn't be fooled. And like you said, he is the greatest deflector of all time. We shouldn't be fooled by his deflections, and we should make sure that we get out there and vote like no other. I mean, absentee voting has started. You can vote absentee by mail if you are outside of the county, and if you are over the age of 65. You want to also keep in mind that we have 2 days before the election October the 31st and also October 24th from 8 to 5 in circuit clerk offices all over the state. You can vote absentee in person if you're not going to be available to vote on election day. Actually, we want to exercise that as well. And we do expect absentee voting numbers to be up because of COVID. And so
Well, let's talk
we
about
want
that.
to.
I'm glad
Okay.
you brought that up. Let's talk about that because we know there's been a whole lot of conversation about these absentee ballots, and Trump has been pushing an issue about them coming up missing, being thrown in the trash, thrown in the river. I find it interesting though that the only ballots that seem to be thrown in the trash or found in the river are his. I'm just joking, just joking. But on a serious note, we do know that there's issues with the postal service, and it's not up for debate. Nobody is calling into question that these issues with the postal service has come from
Mhm.
Trump's administration and the decision that he's made on changing things, on pulling out mail sorters and things of that nature, making it harder and taking longer to get mail out. Uh, and so once again, I personally believe that this is a act of voter suppression. Um, so
Well,
how confident should people feel about voting absentee?
that's an excellent question. I've told I have told people that your absentee voting is legal. It's part of the political or the election process. But because so much doubt has been cast on it, legitimately through the lack of funding from this White House and the lack of the effective operation of it from as the executive function of the government. People should be concerned about voting absentee. Now, some states they basically all they have mail-in voting. I mean, they have in early voting, and the absentee voting process is really something that they do uh, to cast the majority of their votes. Whereas in Mississippi, it's part of our process, but we really like to show up at the polls to vote. And I can understand the health and safety concerns. Efforts in the state legislature failed for voters to be able to go to the polls and to vote safely. We actually try to do everything we can as legislative Democrats to allow early voting in Mississippi, even if just only for 2020. And that effort failed. Also, efforts to push out the whole time where you can vote absentee as opposed to right now we only have those 2 Saturdays, Alicia, before the election where you can go in and vote absentee. Well, we said, why don't we just allow several days, whether it's 2 weeks or whether it's 30 days from October 3rd to November 3rd for people literally just to go to the polling locations to vote. We also talked about ways of how can we create other remote polling places in the county, respective counties, so people could have more places to vote. And if you have more places to vote, you can reduce the crowds of voting. Like, as you know, we got
Mm-hmm.
a precinct West Rosedale and East Rosedale. And so, can you imagine if we had 3 places in West Rosedale where people can vote and 3 places in East Rosedale where people can vote? That way, you've increased the polling location by 4 in that area, and you can have less people just protect each other from COVID. We
Yeah.
tried that and we failed. So legislative leadership and the legislative Republicans will not take Democrats' proposals on that, and so it is what it is. I would say if you are wearing your mask and putting on your mask and you practice social distancing and you go into grandma's house and you go into Walmart and you go into the store and you go into work,
You can come to the polls and
please,
vote.
yes. That Alicia, I'm sorry. That is what I've been telling people. I've been saying
We
I
need
would
y'all to
rather
come to
for
the
this to be
polls and
to the
vote.
polls and vote, and only those extreme circumstances would I tell a person go ahead and do absentee. Other than that, I'm telling people I'd rather for the tape to be pulled from the voting precinct or from the machine, and we know who won the election from the tape. I don't want it
Yeah,
to be completely relied on by some paper ballot. So that's why I'm telling people, even though absentee is legal but because of the way things have gone and the lack of funding, so to answer your question, I wouldn't be as confident that I have been in previous years on the absentee voting process, even in the state of Mississippi.
absolutely.
I would encourage everyone to go to the polls, vote, try to get there early, wear your mask, wear your gloves, hand sanitizer, do whatever you have done since the pandemic has hit when you've left your home and go and do the same thing on election day, November 3rd.
And listen, I want to address and talk about when we talk about absentee and the times that the courthouse is going to be open. We know that we have some young people, registered
Mm-hmm.
voters, but young people who's gone off to college. You know, not all of the
Yep.
colleges open back up just virtually. You know, you can actually go on campus. So we have a few young
Mm-hmm.
people that are away at college, and I want for information, guys. I want you guys to know that bring your babies home on the Friday before the election. Let them get up Saturday morning and go to the clerk's office
Yes.
and vote. And then
Yes.
Sunday they can get back on the road and be back at school. Please do not use as an excuse they're away from college. As a matter of fact, the courthouse is going to be open a few Saturdays before the election. So if for some reason they
Yes.
cannot come in on the weekend before, then that's fine. Get them in here on a Friday, get them up Saturday morning, take them to the courthouse and let them vote. Sunday, they can get back on the road, get back to college, and you don't have to worry about them missing a class. It is too important to come up with a reason or an excuse why we are not casting our vote. It's too important this time around.
Alicia is
Now,
exactly right. Alicia,
go
you're
ahead.
exactly right. And to all of our viewers out there and listeners, October the 24th, Saturday, October the 24th, and Saturday, October the 31st, 8 to 5, you can vote in person. You can vote in person. You'll be doing the exact same thing you would have done on election day. You just have to do it at the courthouse, which is fine. Please, like Alicia has said, get your babies, the ones that are in college, in school, the ones that for whatever reason will not be able to vote on Tuesday, November the 3rd, take them those 2 Saturdays before the election and allow them to vote in person. I mean, it's so important to do that. And of course, you know, for our military people, they know the process, especially the ones that are overseas. They've been doing it and they use the process. They know how to request their ballots from the clerk's office and how to fill out the ballots and read the instructions and get back in. Uh, Based upon the funding issues and based on how long it takes to get the mail, we don't know when we're gonna get it, but they know the process. And so
Yeah,
because of that, we don't want you all to rely on the absentee voting process this year and to vote in person, please, if you can.
yeah, absolutely. 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 Now, we know, and what we're saying, guys, is vote. Now, I know everybody who knows
Yes.
me knows who I'm supporting and who I'm voting for. But on this broadcast, we're not pushing a particular candidate or a particular political party because of our grant. However, we are addressing particular issues that we see on both sides. Um, so I have asked our senator about some things concerning Trump and his administration, and now I'm fixing to ask him something about Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now the most thing that I keep hearing about potential voters and their struggle with voting for Biden is his support of and or his writing of the 1994 crime bill that we know negatively affected the African American community at a great rate. Um, Do you have anything, Senator Simmons, that you can say concerning that concern or that issue surrounding Biden?
Yeah, I think that is so true. A lot of times, uh, what is intended by a law when it was contemplated, the way it actually is enforced or the application of the law will have disproportionately effect up on communities of color. We've seen that many times, and the 1994 crime bill was one of those. Uh, I think that it certainly was supported with good intentions, but we have seen the negative effect of the crime bill. We've seen Vice President Biden with President Barack Obama do whatever they could do when they were in the executive function of government by rolling back some of those mandatory sentencing. As you know, Alicia, in the federal
Mm-hmm.
systems, we had problems with 18-1. They rolled back some of that. And they have made some reforms, but it's a whole lot of more reforms left to go. I could assure you, based upon the two choices that you have on the ballot, with having Kamala Harris as the vice president, Joe Biden, who was the Attorney General of California, as well as a U.S. attorney. I mean, you have two people that are very uh, understanding about what we are dealing with as a community of color. You've seen them be vocal about what we have seen this year, from George Floyd to Breonna Taylor to Ahmaud Arbery. And so to even be able to be vocal about those issues that really affect us, I think it's a start. And we have not seen it on the other side. And so while Alicia on this broadcast cannot take a position, I can tell you that I can, and I have taken a position, and the choice should be clear. The choice should be clear, as opposed to somebody who's trying to further suppress and oppress communities of color, and basically is doing everything they can to align himself with the radical racist white supremacist groups. We got somebody on the other side who is being very vocal about talking about those issues that affect us and how it's important the next administration should address those issues through legislation. And what we want to see is legislation that's been sponsored by Senator Kamala Harris to address police brutality and the interaction of police on communities of color. We'd like to see that bill be pushed through the Senate. And as vice president of the Senate, she'll be the president of the Senate as like the number one person in the U.S. Senate. President Biden can continue what he started between 2008 and 2016 with President Barack Obama, and trying to roll back some of the very, very harsh negative effects that we've had since that 94 crime bill. And so some wrongs have to be made right, and I believe that there's no other person than the Biden Harris ticket that would allow us to get on the right path. It's going to be a while before we get there, but at least start traveling in the right direction to address these issues that really have affected so many of us. And again, that bill that's sponsored, you can look it up. That bill is sponsored by Senator Kamala Harris, and I think Cory Booker is also one of the co-sponsors, or he may have his own bill. It's to complete decriminalize a lot of these the drugs or the crime on the books that are disproportionately having African American males and minority males to be placed in prison and be held for a long time. These are non-violent offenses that are
Well,
holding and
look, you
keeping
just said
us
something that
and
caught
taking
my
away our right to
attention.
vote.
You're talking about the possibility, the opportunity to decriminalize certain drug laws. We have a bill on the ballot this year, do we not? That's concerning
We do. We
medical
do.
marijuana. Are
That's
you
right. And
familiar
that's
with that bill? Can you speak to that?
yep. We had basically Initiative 65 for years. There have been efforts in the Mississippi legislature to address medical marijuana. My father, who died of cancer, I'm very very empathetic to people who are dealing with those chronic illnesses. But medical marijuana, as the medical community has indicated, it has been tried, tested, and true. It helps with all of those ailments. And so, after the Mississippi legislature fails to address the issue, we have a ballot initiative process in the state of Mississippi that allows the citizens to put something on the ballot. And the citizens will not have to exercise their right if the legislature will act. And so, because we failed to act, Initiative 65 is a citizens initiative, ballot initiative, to allow medical marijuana to be used in the state of Mississippi. The legislature created an alternative, which was Initiative 65A, which will be on the ballot. And a lot of the proponents of and supporters of 65 have said that it's to confuse the voters, it's to defeat the overall Initiative 65 measure by it being placed on the ballot. And so when you go to the polls, it's going to be a long ballot because you have to go through the president, federal elections, then a state and any other local elections. It will say you have to approve or disapprove 65 or 65A. And the first thing that if you are in fact supporting it, you have to approve. And once you select the approve, you can't stop there because a lot of people will just vote to approve and they'll move on and they'll actually hit next and won't vote on the second part. The second part says, what are you approving? Do you approve 65, which is the medical marijuana initiative by the citizens, or do you approve 65A? And so you have to first select approve.
So for initiative
65.
For initiative 65, for initiative 65, you have a two-step process. If you approve of it, you have to vote approve. Then you have to go down and approve which one, initiative 65 or initiative 65A.
That's right.
Okay.
But for those who
disapprove,
they don't have to vote. Once they disapprove, at least you just vote. I'm against 65A, and you don't have to select anything.
All right. So if you disapprove on it, you just vote disapproval and you're done.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, Senator, there has been a lot of conversation with people of African American descent who feels like President Trump has done a good job. Have you heard of a young lady by the name of Candace Owens?
Yes.
Okay.
I have.
I want you to listen to this, Senator, and then we're gonna talk about it. Okay. Listen to this right quick. Little short video, y'all. Let's listen to this right quick.
So is out with a new book called Blackout. Candace, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So you've talked a lot about the support for President Trump and really Black America. Give us your perspective on Black America today.
I think it's one of the most interesting components to look at heading into this election is the Black vote. Primarily because the Democrats rely upon it heavily. They've relied upon the Black vote heavily for the last 6 decades, which is why you see them increasing the rhetoric and constantly accusing conservatives of being racist. But why this is interesting is because their accusations are no longer landing in the way that they used to. And what I mean by that is that, in the 2016 election, there was this palpable fear, not just amongst Black Americans, but amongst all Americans on both sides, because they didn't know exactly what to expect from Trump. He wasn't your career type politician. Heading into this election cycle, people now know we've had him for 4 years. So telling us that we need to be fearful, telling us that if Trump gets into office, he's going to ruin Black America, or we're all going to be Black on slave ships, which is quite literally the type of rhetoric they were using in 2016, doesn't land the same. We're looking at the actual results. We're seeing that we've had a Republican conservative president for the last 4 years, and he's been able to accomplish more than a black president did in 8 years. So the stakes are higher, and every poll that you look at shows. I don't care if you're looking at a left-leaning poll or a right-leaning poll, they show that black support for Donald Trump has increased, and that's a detrimental threat to the Democrat Party, who cannot afford to lose even 5 points of the black vote, or else their entire party is finished.
Yeah.
All right, sir.
It's
So,
like it's like
and you know that, and I'm saying that this from African Americans who support Trump, and they do believe and say and stand on the point that the Democratic Party, in order to maintain or to try to continue to have their influence over African American voters, they race bait. They race bait. Everything is always fear that the white man gonna come and get you. And that's the reason why the Democratic Party is able to maintain its hold. What do you think about that? How do you address that issue? If you have anything to say on it at all.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I would say I've actually heard Candace Owens many times, and it's almost like comedy when I hear her. But actually, to the point, we don't have to race bait. I will say that the Democratic Party, as well as the Republican Party, both have to rely on looking at people who have been traditionally misrepresented, unrepresented, and underrepresented in America, and that and those are those communities of color. But when it comes to the policy, or when it comes to the rhetoric, it's nothing that we have to make up. We don't have to go on Fox News and say that and lie about this administration has done more for the African American community than the last, because we know it has not. And also, when you talk about an administration, every opportunity President Trump and or the Republicans they get to oppress and depress communities of color or immigrants, they do that. I mean, you see it through policies, you see it through cases that are going through federal courts, you see it through them trying to take away the health care in a pandemic, in a health pandemic, trying to take away health care from 20 million people who otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity to have health care, but for the Affordable Care Act. And when you see the president himself who votes absentee to basically cast doubt on the whole absentee voting process as it's not a legitimate way to vote when that's the way he votes, or when you see an opportunity for this president to denounce white supremacy at the first presidential debate, he told them to stand back and stand by. I mean, so the record is clear, and for anybody who's watching, they know, Alicia, that the Democratic Party has been a party where it has been inclusive. When you look at the DNC, when you look at the Democratic National Convention, when you look at it was almost like a rainbow. I mean, regarding how many people participated, age, color, sex, and all of our efforts in that regard will continue. We do not want to take African Americans or the communities of color for granted. We value the vote, your vote, and we want to work together to change the direction that this country is on right now, because it, as you all know, is on a crash course. And as you all have seen, the Republicans basically crashing the ship.
Okay, there you go.
And so I say they are aiders and abettors to Trump in order to crash the ship. And so what we need to do is we need a new captain of the ship, and we need to actually change the direction that the ship is going. And we can do it over the third.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Senator. Listen, I want everybody to understand the importance of what we're talking about. Whatever side you're on, guys, seriously. Everybody got an opinion, right? Everybody has a position. But you got to engage. You have got to come out in this election and vote. Participate, participate, participate. And I got an announcement for all of my young folks. I put out on Facebook that 18 to 21, if you're 18 to 21 years old and you join in the broadcast, right? I want you to hit me up in my inbox. I am looking for 3 young voters, male or female, it doesn't matter, who wants to participate in this process by going out and getting. We're gonna walk in our community and try to identify people who are not registered to vote and get them registered and encourage people to come out and vote. If you want to participate in doing that, hit me up in my inbox. I got 1 or 2 questions for you based off of what we've discussed here today so that I know that you actually watch the broadcast. Listen to me. We want young people, I need y'all to hear me and hear me good. We don't have an America without our young voters. It doesn't exist. We have got to have you guys engaged and participating. And I know for a long time, I get it. For a long time, there's been that separation between the generations. And it seems like our young people have been left out. We've been going and having the meetings and leaving the young folks at home and then wondering why they don't understand or have a good ground on what's going on and how all this stuff is affecting them. If we don't talk to them, I'm talking to us now, parents, older folks, if we don't engage our young people, if we don't force them and require them to show up to town hall meetings and community meetings, they're not going to know. They're not going to know. If you are a baby boomer, the reason why you are so knowledgeable and you are so involved is because every church meeting that was had where we were discussing politics and issues that affected our community, not only were our parents there, but they drug us with them.
Yes.
And we have got to go back to making sure, putting forth that intentional effort that our young people are informed. We can't sit back and just expect or think that the school is going to do it. Y'all fuss about the school system as it is. You say they ain't teaching them nothing no way. So what make you think they finna educate them on this school system? Come on now. Come on. Derrick, that's what they say.
That's what they say. That's what they say. That's what they say.
So if you believe they ain't teaching them nothing no way, how in the world you gonna leave this up to the school? No, you gonna have to get involved. And then you're getting involved, you're gonna make sure your child is involved. Don't let your child come home got more questions and more comprehension about what's going on in this election than you. Don't do that. Don't do that. We gotta lead as parents. As guardians, it's our responsibility to be the leaders in our household. So we have to set the standard and our young people will follow behind. Okay. So again, if you're 18 to 21 and you want to participate in this election process, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be a Democrat or Republican or whatever, but you do have to be a registered voter. Okay, if you're not registered and you want to participate, hit me up in the inbox and I will we'll get you registered. Okay, we'll get you registered. We got till Monday. We got till tomorrow. We get out and get everybody registered so that you will be able to vote in November. Okay, all right. So y'all do that for me now. Y'all always asking for, and yes, because I know what you're asking. I know what you're asking. See, Derrick, I know my people. I know what they asking.
You know your people.
How much I'm gonna get paid, Turn T? Listen, we got a little stipend for you. Okay? The grant that we got that was awarded to us, part of the funds from that grant we want to use by reaching out, getting our young people involved. We don't have enough to pay everybody, so we had to, do what we can do. Got a little bit this time around. Maybe we'll get a little bit more the next time around where we'll be able to reach out and grab more. Okay. But we want to engage you. We want you to know that your vote matters, and we want you at the polls. Young people's votes can make a difference and can turn the tide. I mean, let's look at Bernie Sanders, man. That guy would not even be a part of the conversation if it was not for the young voters in this country.
That's right.
And Bernie may not have made it, but a lot of his policies have. Because he makes you pay attention, and he makes you get in. Listen, you're going to do something, because some of the stuff Bernie says now is valuable to the people. Valuable to the people. And unless you want to lose that entire voting block, you have got to address those issues that man brings to the table. And he has brought some significant ones, especially when it comes to student loans. That is imperative. That is imperative. That's imperative right. For the African American community, y'all. Unfortunately, a lot of us, our parents are not able to write a check for our children to go to school. So we need to make sure that young people who want that education can go out and get it, and then not have to sell their plasma and their kidney and one of their lungs so that they can live after they get the degree. Okay. So
that's right.
I want to thank everybody for coming out and being with us, engaging in the conversation. We got who is Eric D. Simmons? Derrick, who is that guy? Who is that guy?
Look, he's the mayor. He's the mayor of the city of Greenville, and he is the vice president of Mississippi Municipal League, which is the association that represents all of the mayors and city councils in the state of Mississippi. And he's doing a great job in Mississippi Delta as one of our leaders in the Delta, in representing the Delta and promoting the Delta. And like you, Alicia, he believes in civic engagement. They had a event on yesterday and today, doing the same thing you are doing, engaging the citizenry on how to make sure we stay involved and do what we need to do for November the 3rd.
Absolutely.
So I'm proud of that guy. I'm proud of that guy.
Absolutely.
May I say one more thing before we get on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Another important thing that a part of this process that you have seen, I know you are on the ground working. I have seen it because I'm on the ground on the front lines working. Every time we get into this process, we try to minimize the stress associated with the whole voting process. And one way we can do that is to encourage people to check your polling place location prior to election. Call your circuit clerk's office, because your polling place could possibly change due to COVID-19, or a lot of times your board of supervisors, they may actually close one polling location and move it to another polling location. And we don't want you actually being frustrated on election day and just say, the hell with it. We don't want you to do that. We want you to still exercise your right to vote. So as much information that you can get early, the better it would be for you on election day. So you could actually check it online by going to y'allvote.ms, YALLVOTE.ms, y'allvote.ms. The Secretary of State polling locator website. You can put it in and find out your polling location, or you can call your circuit clerk office directly. Just do a quick Google search. Y'all know how to use your phones really efficiently and effectively. Just do a quick Google search on your Bolivar County Circuit Clerk office. Call, give them your name, give them your address. They not only can tell you the last time you voted, but they can also tell you exactly where you're supposed to be on November 3rd. Do that before November 3rd. Find a convenient time to do that before November 3rd, so you can be ready to rock and roll on November 3rd. Grab that mask, grab your gloves, your hand sanitizers, and go and exercise that very sacred fundamental right that so many of our ancestors fought and died for.
And I want to encourage anybody who's going to be driving. If you're making the commitment to be a driver on election day and help get people to the polls, listen, find you some disinfectant spray and spray your car down now. Every time they get in and they get out, spray your car down.
Spray your car down. That's right.
Spray the doorknob, spray. Okay, because we want you. Listen, we want you to drive, but we want you to be safe. Okay, we want you to be safe, and we having to take some extra precautions this time, just with everything we're dealing with. But as it has always been for African American people in particular, and for this great country that we live in, we've always gone through hard times, but the Lord has always seen us through. So many are the affliction of the righteous, but it's the Lord who delivers us out of them all. And so I feel like that is what's going to carry us through this season. We're going to be okay, and we're going to show up in record numbers. I believe that. Guys, thank you all so much. I see that our time has come. I appreciate it. The conversation was great. When you're having good conversation, time flies. You wouldn't even think it had been this long, but we've had some good conversation. We've addressed some good issues, and we appreciate you guys for taking your time out and watching this. Now, if you know somebody who's not on but should watch it, share the video. When we finish with the live stream, it's going to come up on Facebook. It'll be up on my YouTube channel. Hit the like. Y'all see it going down. Hit the like button and subscribe. Y'all can read that. Y'all see that? Hit the like button on Facebook and on YouTube and subscribe. All right. If you're not a friend, send me a friend request. I'll take it. It don't matter. I'm going to accept you. Get ready to go. Just come on. and stay engaged. Stay engaged. Now, I know I announced last week that I was going to have Representative Abe Hudson, but due to a scheduling conflict, Representative Hudson was not able to be here with us this week. So I am tremendously blessed and thankful to our senator who was able to step in and help us out this week and bring us this great conversation that he has. I thank you so much, Derrick. Listen, let the people know how they can reach you. How can they get in touch with you? You are an attorney, as I said earlier in your introduction. Practice law there in Greenville. So if y'all need some legal assistance, you can reach him. He's your state senator. If you are living in the counties that he told you, Washington, Bolivar, and a part of Coahoma, especially on the west side of Bolivar County. So if you got a question for your senator, he right here. And the one good thing, y'all listen, let me say this to y'all before he gives y'all his contact information. Listen to me and listen to me good. It is voting is important because when you show up to cast your vote to put somebody in office, they become responsible to you. You have a right to have access to them. Okay? And it is important to know people and have relationships with people who have relationships with people who are in particular positions. Because when you need help and you pick up the phone, it's good to have somebody on the other end that will answer. And not only answer the call, but get you some help and some assistance. And if they can't, 9 out of 10 times, they can put you in connections with the person who can. So it's important, guys. It's important. In particular, on a local level, it's important to have people in position that have relationship with other people on a local, state, and national level. It's imperative. Honestly, it's how the world goes around. Go ahead, Senator. Let the people know how they can get in touch with you.
You can reach me if you need any legal assistance at Simmons & Simmons, which is also my district office if you need me on the Senate side, at 662-334-1666. Again, 662-334-1666. And that office location is 207 Main Street in Greenville, Mississippi, downtown. And if you need me on the Senate side, or if you have any Senate constituent issues, or you need me to talk to me about what we talked about today or anything that you're thinking about, I gladly will accept your call. You can call me at the Capitol at 601-359-2224. 601-359-2224. And also, my email address is dsimmons, DSIMMONS, at senate.ms.gov. I will check the emails and be very responsive. And let me also give you my home number. You can call me at home at any time. If I'm not here, my lovely wife Wanda will take the message and I will call you back. She will make sure I call you back. It's 662-378-8764. And before I get out, Alicia, let me just say there are two more things on the ballot that's really important that I will encourage you to vote yes for. We actually have a flag design that is on the ballot.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And we need 51% or more for voters to support the Magnolia flag. You can just pull it up, search it online. It's the new proposed flag. We got rid of the 126-year-old oppressive Confederate flag, and now we have a flag that has been supported by Democrats and Republicans in the state. And we don't want the group that is still pushing for the old Confederate flag to win. And the way that they don't win, if we can get 51% or more to support the flag that's on the ballot. So vote yes for the flag that's on the ballot. And there's another initiative on the ballot, Initiative 47, which basically will put into law in Mississippi. Currently, in our current law, in order to be declared governor or to win statewide elected office, and that's lieutenant governor, secretary of state, treasurer, to win those statewide, those top positions, you had to not only, well, currently the law says you'd have to not only win the popular vote, which is the majority of the vote, but you also have to win the majority of those 120 House districts that I talked about at the beginning of the broadcast. And so that's unfair. That law was placed on the books during the Jim Crow era to stop any a minority or a person of color from actually becoming governor or statewide elected official. Because in the event that they were able to secure enough votes from black and white in the state, then they could still not be declared governor or the statewide elected office that they won, because of the 122 House districts will vote and sit whoever they believe should win, despite the popular vote. So if you support Initiative 47,
that's sort of like the Electoral College.
It's something like the Electoral College. But
you can win the popular vote, but if you don't win the majority of vote in these particular districts, you still don't win.
That's right. And you do know, Alicia, that those districts are carved in a way, we call it gerrymandering. And they carved in a way to give certain advantages based upon political and racial influences. So what you want to do is if you win the popular vote in the state of Mississippi, you want to be declared the winner despite what happens with those 122 House districts. Right. And you can do that on November 3rd by voting yes on that initiative number 47.
All right, so let's round this out. We got Initiative 65. If you vote yes in agreement for medical marijuana being legal in this state, you will vote yes, and then you will go down and you will vote again and vote for Initiative 65.
That's correct.
All right. Then we have another initiative called the flag. The flag is on there, and we want to vote yes so that we can cement that we are done with the Confederate flag. And then we have Initiative 47, where we want to vote yes, which will allow whoever runs for governor, if they receive the popular vote, they will
automatically win.
Automatically the governor. And that makes it more available. Now listen. This creates and opens an opportunity for that day when someone of color decides to run, it makes that leap just a little bit easier to jump across.
That's right. And if
Okay.
they win, and they win with the majority vote of Mississippians, black, white, young, old Democrats, and Republicans, you don't want it to be taken away from them by 122 members in the legislature.
Absolutely. 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 All right. Mr. D, I appreciate you so much for taking the time out, brother, and be with us. You've given us some
Thank you,
valuable
Lisa. I love
information.
you. I said
Go
thank
ahead,
you. I
sir.
love you, and I said thank you. I love you for staying on the front lines, for continuing to stay in the fight. The struggle is real. Your leadership, your dedication, your commitment to the Mississippi Delta, to Rosedale, to Bolivar County. Thank you so much, and I will always continue to support you. I understand that you're looking at bigger and better things. And I think that your leadership on the west side of Bolivar County will be something that I look forward to supporting. And I know you'll do a great job, like you've always done a great job. And I wish you the best.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, brother. We're going to work and do some great things for this side of the county, all of Bolivar County, and the Mississippi Delta, for that matter, can be a lot better, and so I know we can accomplish more as a unit than we can as an individual. And so I appreciate your hand. I thank you so much for your support. And I know we're going to do great things and continue to fight for us. I know when I hear stuff is going down the pipe down there, I text you or call you and be like, what is this? What is this? What's going on, Derrick? And what do I need to be telling the people? So I appreciate you being accessible so that we can get the information that we need up here and know what the devil is happening and going on, and know what side we need to be on when it comes to addressing issues that are affecting our state and our county, and in particular our communities. So I appreciate you for that. Okay. I thank you so much, brother.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
I appreciate y'all. And as I always tell y'all, to the extent that this broadcast is a success, it would not be that way without you, the viewer. I appreciate you so much. And for my congregants that's on YouTube that are here with us live, thank you, congregation. I love you so much. God bless everybody. I appreciate you, and we will see you next week, fam. Y'all take care. Be safe. Wear your mask. Oh, let me ask you this before we go. Derrick, the governor has signed the order saying that it's no longer a mandate on wearing masks. Is that what?
Yeah, I just think that what we've seen a lack of leadership from the White House, and what we have also seen, to be honest with you, a lack of leadership from the governor's mansion in responding to this pandemic, because he's just another lieutenant on the ground for Donald Trump, as opposed to listen to the medical experts who have begged and pled for a statewide mask mandate to be put in effect almost a month before he even acted. And then when he did act, he actually did what he called a surgical approach, where he said, I'm just going to do these counties, then I'll do these counties. And then he finally came out and said, okay, let's go ahead and let's do all counties. Well, last week, when he removed the statewide mask mandate, which is against all of the medical experts, the Mississippi State Medical Association, Dr. Dobbs, all of the people who are on the front line seeing this pandemic play out, and seeing people literally die and can't see their loved ones because they've been infected by the virus. He still disregarded all of that and basically removed the statewide mask mandate, which I think is the wrong thing to do. So I'm encouraging all mayors and all boards of supervisors to still, at the local level, still keep your mask mandate in place, because it will protect and save lives. We don't, because local governments could do things different than the state government, as long as it's not in conflict. So it would not be in conflict if local governments do a mask mandate and the state government does not require it.
I thought
And
we should
so,
at least go through the winter months just out of an abundance of caution and make sure this thing doesn't flare back up. But that's
yeah,
just me and
because
my opinion.
what we are hearing from Dr. Fauci and all of the other national medical experts and scientists is that we are getting ready to get into what is called a twinmic, which is where we will be dealing with the flu season as well as COVID. So we're going to have a lot of our loved ones and a lot of your congregants, Alicia, who may be experiencing flu-like symptoms, and they don't not going to even know whether they are dealing with the flu or COVID. And so, because of that, wearing your mask, washing your hands, maintaining social distance when you can, are still important things that we should do. And so, the governor said that he believes guidelines are more effective than mandates. And so, if he really felt that way, then why did you issue the mandate from the beginning? You issued the mandate because the mandate worked. Our numbers, they did actually spike at some point, and we still hadn't seen a flattening like I expect, but I believe that if that mandate would have stayed in place, we would have done well as we have gone, or as we go through the winter months. And so I'm encouraging everybody, despite lifting of the statewide mask mandate, for local governments to still keep it in place. And despite what local governments do, depending on where you are in the state, please still wear your mask and practice the social distancing.
All right. All right. Thank you, sir. All right, family. God bless you. Take care of yourself. And as I always say, we'll see you next time. God bless. Everybody have a good evening. Thank you so much, Senator Simmons.
Good
We
evening. Bye-bye.
appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Appreciate you.
Bye-bye, everybody. God bless. Y'all take care. Have a good evening.